I said I'll take the beginning.
Happy New Year. Happy 2026. What a great thing. We had a week off. We didn't do the show last week. We slept, we ate, we got to be together a lot, and I think hopefully are all of us, including you, somewhat rested from the holiday and ready to start a new year. So welcome to the show. I'm very excited. I'm sorry I keep talking to that camera. There you go.
Well, I mean, I like to set it up so people can see the set.
Oh,
So
yes.
I always like, because we change the set, in case you guys didn't notice, every show.
We do?
We do.
Okay,
In
what's
fact,
different?
you are further forward than you normally are. You out of your light, or is it hitting you?
I
key
don't know.
light.
I think it is. I
Well,
didn't move my chair.
It's hitting you.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm just saying we usually add things, and then you guys have an idea possibly of what might be coming.
Right. Well, is everybody good? My hair is so wild tonight. Hold on, let me just.
It looks very
It's
70s.
It's it does.
It
I
almost
was in
looked
there
like-
doing my own hair, and I was
You know
I
what
had
I think it looked like?
What?
It looked like, what was the girl that was Roman Polanski's?
Sharon Tate.
Sharon Tate
And I'll
hairdo.
add to that, not today.
It's her look. It's her do.
Well, she would wear it back like.
Not necessarily. Just because I remember you had that little extra
She was
thing.
so beautiful. Thank you. I take that as a
Well,
compliment.
it was a compliment. And by the
Anyway.
way, she's not prettier than you. No chance.
Oh, you just say that because you love me.
No, I say it because it's true. Right, everybody?
But it's wild. I didn't brush it. Now I'm looking at it going, I'm wild.
Like your cat in the cage poster.
It is a little bit like my cat in the cage poster. Woo! Oh, anyway, so how is
Happy New
everybody?
Year, right?
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year, Dawn. Happy New Year, Seth. All of our viewers. I hope I had a show last night. It was really a good show. It was a really fun show. A lot of
What's
people
unique
came.
about this show
Yeah,
is this will be the first time we're launching with a new name.
that's right. We rebranded
So
the
what
show.
what do you see?
I think, first of all, I want to just say what an amazing job Ryan did with this. It was a lot of work, and, it was a collective consciousness thing that we all.
But there it is.
But Ryan did
We're calling
an
it the
amazing amount of work on this. And there it is, behind the stage doors with Todd Fisher and Catherine Hickland.
Now, you know what I did when I named the show? I actually said Cat and Todd Live still.
Yeah.
After that. So we keep that kind of, so like in the graphic that you've got here, which if you look at it right there, it says, where's Media Play? Okay. It says with Todd and Catherine. What I did is I just said, when I labeled the show for the YouTube and stuff, I just said Cat and Todd Live. But it's important to put the name in there. I guess he's right. But we should say live. And I'm not sure why I got top billing
This
all
the
of a
only
sudden.
question that I have. And Ryan, can you make yourself known? Pin up, boy. Pin up.
Shorter than cat, so it stacks better.
Voila.
Voila, and there he is. Okay. So now when people want to find, hi there, pal. Happy New Year.
Hi.
Oh,
Happy
man.
New Year.
You're a
Look
sight.
at that background.
You're a sight for sore eyes.
Yep.
And
Here we go.
he's even got magenta lights on himself.
I love this. Very flattering.
You look at
indeed.
least 5 years younger.
Rebranding in full.
5 years younger.
At least.
Yeah, I wish. No, let's not go back.
No,
No.
you couldn't make me
You
go
paid
back.
for that once. That's enough.
Okay,
Well,
so
no, if I go back, that means I have to wait longer for other things.
we
anyway.
all know what you're talking about. I was talking
Yes.
about this last night on my show. I'm so excited.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the thing. Now, when people go to look for us on YouTube that don't watch our show already and haven't already subscribed to us, what would they look for? Could they go find us by Cat and Todd Live still? And
No, it's a good question. The channel is the YouTube channel
Yeah.
is now Behind the Stage Doors with Debbie Reynolds, and that's the same as the Patreon. And the reason for the channel to be that is that a lot of the content that we put, like short clips that we pull from the live show,
Yep.
it all sort of feeds back into Debbie Reynolds, and we wanted the search algorithms to because Debbie's popular in searches.
Sure.
So we wanted people, when they type in Debbie Reynolds, to come to the channel.
Awesome.
And then your show will be Behind the Stage Doors with your names. And again, Cat and Todd, we talked about this, who's Cat, who's Todd.
Yep.
We all know. But if we want to grow the audience, I mean, we've, behind the scenes, everyone, we kind of track all of our numbers every week, viewers, how many people watch, how many people stay, and it's amazingly consistent.
Yep.
So that's great, but that also means we're not growing. And we think that maybe the growth isn't happening because people aren't finding us.
Right.
So hopefully the name recognition will help that.
I know. We should have actually, I wish
I've
we
been
had
trying
thought
to find
about
myself for years, so maybe that's the problem.
I wish we would have thought of that from the beginning, only because Debbie is a huge part of this, and so we missed the boat on that. But
Well, I know
I'm really
one
happy
person
we
who
did
thinks
it.
that wouldn't even be doing it without her.
You.
If she doesn't give my father that extra beer, I'm not even here to talk about this. So I'm
right.
just saying.
Do you see this? This is proof of what one beer can do, right here.
Yep.
One beer.
And it wasn't a Bud Light either.
And it wasn't a Michelob Ultra, which is my beer of choice, because they didn't have Michelob Ultra back then. It was
Right.
probably
Coors.
no, it was probably
Well, they were in Europe.
a Budweiser.
No, they were in Europe.
Oh, okay. So,
So-
Corona. No, that's
No,
Mexico.
they were in Spain.
They were in Spain, or
Yeah, no, so Maduro, it would have been some, I don't know, whatever.
Modelo.
We don't know what's a Spanish beer
So
is.
Ryan just took himself out of here. There.
Oh, no, he
here we
didn't.
go.
He's showing something.
Oh, I love this. So Ryan, what are we looking at?
This is the Patreon page. So this went along with the rebrand. So everything is the same.
Beautiful.
Behind the Stage Doors with Debbie Reynolds. And what we did was we took away all the complicated membership business and we made it one. So there it is, one membership. It's lower in price and everyone can just choose to join. And with that, you will be able to access our vast library. And right now,
that is
I'm
awesome.
scrolling through it. These are all the videos. I think there are like 52, 53, but you can scroll through here and see all the videos. Some of them are performances that you can't see anywhere else. We add something every single week. But it's clean, it's simple, and again, the same thing, Debbie Reynolds, if people start searching, hopefully they'll find the page because there's a lot of great stuff here and it's, we want people to see it. That's the reason we created
and the thing is
page.
we had to make it easy to find. So I think you've done a great job with this. It's absolutely beautiful.
Well, and the other thing is the people that already joined that were paying the higher price are going to be automatically now billed less, right, Brian?
That's it. That's correct. And
that's awesome.
Let me throw up here. We created for tonight, if you aren't a member, this is a code. If you write it down, it will give you 50% off of the $5.99. So what is that, $2.99? So you can join for a month at $2.99, see what it's like. Do you like it? Do you like the content? Is this something you'd be interested in? It's, $2.99 is less than what it costs for a coffee these days.
Exactly.
So,
and then after
anyway,
the first month, it would be $5.99, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well,
So that's the code.
I think
it's down.
I think these are good changes, though, because we're trying to fine tune this as we go. We don't. Nobody was born with this information.
No, and it was new to all of us. And I have to say, again, Ryan, unbelievable amount of work to do this, and it's phenomenal. I think it looks like, and I would say you probably spent your whole Christmas break doing this. So thank you so much.
I was prepared. I worked towards doing it over the break because it's hard to do it, in the midst of everything else. But I knew I would have a big chunk of time, so I saved it for that. Worked out perfectly. And all the members, I see some questions here. Everyone who is a member already, you just automatically, I think it takes about a month till they catch everyone's membership up to be equal because of course everyone joined at staggered times. But from what I understand, by the end of January, everyone will be caught up. It'll be $5.99. You don't have to do a single thing. Patreon does it all for you. You just now start saving $4 a month. Who doesn't like to save money?
Oh, wow. That
All right.
is great. I'm going to go to the channel right now. So I'm going to YouTube so I can see some of these questions as well.
Shall I carry on with
And
the
you
show?
carry on and let people know what they're going to see tonight because it's going to be fun. Tonight's show is going to be really fun. We have a new acquisition, which is kind of cool.
Well, actually not, as it turns out, but that's a little ahead of the story.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the other.
Oh, well, that's different. But we're actually are going to be focusing tonight's show on collecting Hollywood memorabilia, but specifically costumes.
And what to look out for.
Not just to look out for. It's like people want to drift into costumes. That's one thing when you come on this site and we offer a Debbie piece, you know it's coming from her and all of that. But if you see a Debbie piece anywhere else, you really got to ask, where did this come from? They call that provenance.
Yeah.
The history of where something came from. And when you're dealing with like screen-worn, stage-worn costumes, you really have to know where this stuff comes from. So having said that, that's what our show is about. And I have a really amazing subject matter available, which is my mother's costume from Singing in the Rain. This is the lavender costume, blue and lavender costume from the You Were Meant for Me number. It was also used before that as well. But that costume has been in our collection since the MGM days. And it was always very fragile, not in great shape, got used a lot. In fact, if you think about it like this, if you're familiar with the movie, it gets used in a Beautiful Girls number. Do we have that clip too or no?
It's all in the video.
It's all in the video. All right. So there's use of it in several scenes along the way. Now, when you have a costume that's used a lot in the movie, it's not unusual to have the wardrobe department make 2 or more, depending upon what's happening. It's rare, though, because it's like in the movie where somebody might get wet. My mother did in the movie the second time around. Carrie and I are on the set. There's a funny black and white picture of us seeing her face down in the mud. So they made 2 of those, not including the stunt woman's costume. So that costume had 3 of one particular costume, but it was because she was going to get wet and dirty, and they had to quickly do a turnaround. So same thing with Julie Andrews, The Sound of Music, a couple of places where she gets wet, and there's a scene where there were 2 costumes for that. So I've seen this along my experienced journey in costume collecting, and you want to remember we talked a few weeks ago about the ruby slippers and how inside the label the studio had penned in numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, indicating that there were that many of those particular shoes used for the production or made for the production. Whether they were used or how they were used is questionable. That's part of what you have to do your research on. So anyway, we have a video that we prepared, and the video is based on something that happened recently. So a buddy of mine, Mark Selland, who has partnered with me since really 2012 auctions, 11 actually.
Mark Selland is how we met him was at the first auction.
I met him before that.
Are you sure?
I know so.
The first time I met him was at the first auction because he bought one of the Singin and one of the Good Morning costumes, Debbie's
Yes.
costume, and came over to her. I was sitting next to her in our seats in the auction, and put his hand out, introduced himself, and said, "I just bought your Good Morning costume." And she said, "Oh," it really meant a lot to her. And then he said, "And I would like to give it back to you because I think you should have it."
Exactly.
That was really quite a moment to witness, you know.
Well, I had met him prior to that. First time we actually met face to face was at the NAB convention, National Broadcasting Convention here in Las Vegas. I met him and his partner back then. And, you know, he was showing interest in collectibles. He, at the time, was more of a sports collector. But anyway, to segue forward, over the years, we bought many things together. Currently, we've invested in different costumes together. So the auction was coming up for the Heritage auction. And my mother's costume was showing up in that auction, the purple outfit from Singing in the Rain. Well, I have that costume. So how and why is there another Debbie Reynolds costume from Singing in the Rain. Speaking of that, Seth, do you happen to have the certificate also? The okay, pull that out of there, would you? Just so I have it, because I'm going to want that. So they're advertising Debbie Reynolds' costume from Singing in the Rain. It's the purple outfit from the "You Were Meant for Me" number, and I'm.
It is now.
And I'm thinking, wow, why are we? You know, I have that costume, so what does that mean? Well, I actually saw this costume many years ago. It came up in another profiles auction. Now, I didn't remember that it was a profiles auction. I had to look that up recently. But back in around 2018 or 17 or something, they actually had this costume come up, and I looked at it then. And I thought, well, I don't need it because we have one, but why would there be two? It's not like that aggressive a dance number to require having two of these costumes. I questioned it back then. I did not buy it. Well, this time it came up and Mark said maybe we should buy that. I went back and I looked at our costume, and on the label of our costume, it said Debbie Reynolds and the production codes, C number, etc. But it had a little 2 handwritten, much like you would have seen in the Ruby Slippers. And that made me think, maybe there were 2 costumes made for these numbers, since the one is a dance number where the chorus is dancing, and then there's the scene out on the studio back lot, and then they go in and do the big dance number with Gene and You Were Meant for Me. So that made me think, you know what? Worst case, let's look at this thing. Let's buy it and look at it up to a certain point, right? So we buy the costume, and it arrives. And we're going to go to the video and show you, Mark and I, the day it arrived and the process that we went through to sort of understand what this costume is based on the setup that I just gave you. So here we go. Okay, here we are in the archive room at Las Vegas. It's also the library, and this is the only big table we have for showing things. So we have some things to show you guys. This is Mark Selland. He's been on the show a couple of times. He's a partner of mine in a lot of areas. And in this case, we just bought a couple of costumes and we partnered on these. And we got it from the Heritage auction just recently and grabbed a few cool items. And I think the most interesting one here is this dress, which was purchased as my mother's dress from Singing in the Rain as Kathy Selden. Now this is their certificate that comes with it. But the only thing is, we already have one of these dresses. And they're very, very fragile. And I mean very fragile. So I'm going to lay this here.
I'm going to just move that out of the way.
Yeah, so what we're doing here is we're going to compare these two for the first time ever since they were at MGM, assuming that this is legit. And we don't know that for sure yet. So that's partly what we're up to here. So here it is. You can see how very fragile this is. You can see also where it was repaired. Now,
this one isn't, yeah.
Now let's look at this. I've always wondered about this costume here, because over the years this has shown up in auction, and I'm like, well, I don't need to buy that because we have this, and we know this is legit. My mom got this from the first auction. This one keeps resurfacing, and I asked myself, well, why in the world would you have a second one of these costumes? Now they are fragile, but why would you have a second one in a dance number where you're not really dancing that aggressively? You take Good Morning, for an example, the little knitted outfit, we have that. There's no 2 costumes there, and they're really going crazy in that. Somersaults and over the couch. And
right.
This is just this beautiful dance number. You know, You Were Meant for Me, up and down the ladder and around the sound stage while we change the lighting. A little wind, it's not like exactly hard on the costume. So why are there 2? Now, or are there 2? But initially, I have to tell you, I think this looks really legit. Just without going much farther. I mean, it really does. So we bought it because I don't want many of my mom's costumes running around outside of my control. You know how that bothers me. Keeps me up at night, in fact. I have to call Mark late at night sometimes because I can't sleep about that.
Somebody help me with this, would you? Here, let me point out something to you, if I don't mind. Do you notice the sweat probably on both?
Yeah. Well,
so these were both worn.
Yeah, you have DNA. Now, that's the other point. Could it have been a double?
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
There's a way to check that, though. So,
okay.
Inside these costumes, and because these are so fragile, we're going to have to do everything really slow.
Yep.
So we're going to undo the little hooks. This is before Velcro was invented. And Well, that's not exactly. Is that true? Yeah, that is. No, it's not true. It was invented during World War II, but it didn't find its way into costumes right off the bat. We're hoping that inside this zipper there's going to be labels in these seams.
The
someplace.
seams?
Well, that's what they normally are. Not, by the way, I haven't checked the other one, so it's like we almost should start with that one before we do this one. But you could see there's nothing
No label in this one.
inside. Let's just see if
So
there's
far.
anything different over here. Well, let's see if they're different in some fashion.
And I usually thought they were up top.
Well, not necessarily. It depends. Like, you see how shredded this is.
Yeah, that one it looks like it's had,
Well, it got a lot of use.
got it, yeah, had a lot of usage.
Up.
There we
Now-
go.
Now, if that doesn't have that, it would make us very. And there's been. You see, the label was there and it's gone.
There's something that was there, yeah.
Okay, come over here now. Look at this. So why is that label not there?
Well, it could have been a double, like you said.
Well, so then the size becomes, the next point of interest would be the size.
What is this production book? Tell me what this is.
This has a list of all the codes, U.S. production codes. So
Okay.
these are, every movie has been assigned a code number within the studio. Each studio assigned codes to every movie.
Okay.
So we're about to check that. A lot of people don't know
Right.
how these codes.
I would
so
agree
you're
with
gonna
that.
do this for me right now. So I'm going down the list, and there's Singing in the Rain, 1952. That's the release date. But the code is 1546. So tell me what that says on that label. Oh.
God, are you kidding me? Okay. 1546.
Okay.
And then after that is 8624. Does that mean something?
Probably has something to do with the scene number.
8624.
Okay, there's 86. Now the parenthetical information says car pulls up. In it are Cosmore, Don, and Kathy. So the three of them together. Pull over, Henry. They get out. And then, so this could be interesting because she could be easily wearing this outfit. We have to almost go to that scene
Right there.
and take a look at in the movie
Right,
what
right,
she
right.
might be wearing. But
It's the other way. There you go.
now this is early on when he finds her. Again, he's been missing her for a while, and he finds her doing this dance number in the where she's been working on the lot. That's the dress there. So now I'm starting to think about this, and it starts to make a lot more sense because there are many numbers that this dress appears in. So making a second one, there it is again. Now this is where they take the walk after they re-meet on the soundstage.
He's wearing the same costume.
So there was a number in this movie called Beautiful Girls, and it's
Yeah.
with some crooner, and they're singing, and she's just an extra, a chorus girl. Beautiful girls, all the boys adore you. All the girls are wearing these outfits.
Oh.
So we should take a look at that. I'm thinking there are at least 3 scenes now. There's the scene on the stage, Beautiful Girl, out on the street where he's saying, Kathy, I've been looking everywhere for you.
I haven't been able to think of anything but you ever since.
Honest?
Honest.
And then he says, come with me, and we go to the soundstage. So now they're on the soundstage together, and he sings, You Were Meant for Me.
All right, I'm going
But I'm still, I mean, the good news is, I think it's legit. It is clearly made at the same time, made the same way. Everything about it is, where the question becomes, what happened to the label? In our hands, it doesn't really matter because this is the only place in the world you could do what we just did. Now think about that. How do you do this if you don't have this costume, right? So they're looking at this costume and they're checking it against the screen as best they can. Or they look at a still picture. Well, that's nothing compared to what we were able to do here. I mean, we're able to look at this, the way that this zipper is sewn in. And you can see how nicely, the way they're matching nicely. Look at the way that and that. I mean,
Right.
Same machines, same everything. So this whole thing is very legit. You can also see, though, how delicate this is. You see that? Which is why you don't see this stuff on
Yeah.
display. This one's actually in better shape. So this might have been used more, who knows. But anyway, that's our story on the Debbie Reynolds Singing in the Rain costume. So back in the fold, you know, I could sleep a little better knowing this isn't wandering around out there. All right, so that's part one. Now, we're sitting there with those two costumes, and you notice how the thing that I brought up was the fact that there's no label in other costume. Well, why is got to be the question. And one possible answer is, you know, it got lost, but the threads were there, so you could see it was removed. And they didn't even take the threads out that had stitched that label in. That made me suspicious. So one approach to this is somebody took the label out because it was one of the extras costumes from the Beautiful Girl number, which you just saw. I forgot how many girls were in there. It was like 10? 12 girls. Yeah, I think that's right. Something. Anyway, there's a lot of girls in there, all wearing the same exact costume. So, wow. I mean, why? So you could take Thelma Jones's label out and then just leave it up to question whether that could have been Debbie's costume. So that would be somebody like a John LeBeau kind of character that would pull something like that to try to get away with it. But if it was John LeBeau, I can assure you he would have put back in an MGM label because he had them. He knew exactly how to fake it. He had access to those production codes. He could have perfectly faked it. So it's not a John LeBeau cooked up deal. So I started asking myself, well, why is that label out of there? So, and I came back. Was it like hours later? When did we come back with the tape measure? 2 days. Okay, so I was sleeping on it and it was bugging me. And so I came in with the flexible tailor's ruler. I said, let's compare the size of this costume to that costume. And so that's part two. Let's do that. Okay, we have a further investigation going on after reviewing the Singing in the Rain scenes. There is a sequence where there's a chorus scene where my mom's in it. There are 12 girls in that. And this guy that's in the scene, they're all gathered around him, and we'll show you a still of that. And you could see plainly there are 12 costumes, including my mother's, in that scene that are all the same. And I believe what we have here is actually a chorus girl costume, not a Debbie costume. Now, even though they look identical in so many ways, there's a few things that would give it away. The most important thing is the waist. So I'm looking at the chorus girl costume at the moment, and we're just looking at this spot in the costume right here, which is going to take us out to about 16 inches across without pulling it very much. It's about 16 inches. Now you go over to the Debbie costume, which of course is the one we've had in our collection for a very long time. And you can see this is sitting at about 14 inches. And so there's 4 inches at least in the waist difference. You know that the costumers are not going to let some gal have 4 inches extra in her waist. The other thing that appears to be really obvious is the height. So you're just looking at the shoulders here, and you can see this dress is substantially longer. We're off the table here, and my mother's ends right there, and this one goes off the table and is already 4 or 5 inches here. Minimum of 6 inches of height discrepancy, maybe more. But if you look at the picture that we're showing you right now, you'll see that these girls that are standing around my mother are substantially taller. Some in the background are much taller. So the fact that this has no label, had a label in it, which we have shown you, but the label was removed, would indicate that maybe it was a chorus girl's costume. Someone took that label out to try to pass it off as a Debbie costume, because without the other one next to it, how would you know that that wasn't Debbie's costume without knowing her waist size and all of that? Because they are made correct. I mean, this is a match. This costume is the same fabric. This one, ours is actually not even as good a shape. They both have sweat damage under the arms. You see the sweat? Both my mother's and this one. So in so many ways, they're exactly the same. The brooch is the same, etc. So I'm just saying, I'm 99.9 that this is a chorus girl's costume from Singin' in the Rain, clearly made the same as this, but no longer a Debbie costume. So that's a factor. We're going to be talking about price with the folks we got it from.
Wow.
What happened? We're not done?
There we go.
Now we're done. Okay, so like on one hand, I was a little like disappointed, be the right word, because I wouldn't have minded having the second one, especially since there is a 2 in my mother's label, which means there could be another costume out there somewhere that might be the Debbie 2 costume, or maybe that's just some number for no reason that I'm aware of. Generally, though, those numbers don't get put in there for no reason. So I would just suggest there could still be a Debbie 2. We have 2, but there could be a Debbie 1. And I will say the chorus costume is of interest to me. So I did contact the auction house. And because it's me, they take me seriously. And they were like, ooh. And I explained what I just explained to all of you. And they said, well, would you still be interested in the costume? And I said, of course, a Singing in the Rain costume, even from the chorus, is still cool to me. I would love it, but not at that price. I mean, you're paying Debbie dollars for a chorus girl, not going to happen. So this is an interesting dilemma. So they said, well, we'll get back to the owner of the costume and see what they say.
So it was on consignment?
Well, they're all technically on consignment, right?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, they don't buy these things and sell them. So so everything there is a consigned item. The people that put it there are obligated to provide the auction house with whatever information they have, factually speaking. The auction house, though, generally speaking, comes over the top of them. It does their own research on these items. They had no way of checking what I was able to check, but they did have a missing label, which really should have been a bit of a red flag, at least enough to make the buyers beware. Could I get the certificate from you guys? Is that sitting on the top there, Seth? So when a big company like a Profiles or a Heritage, or Profiles obviously got bought out by Heritage, but Darren Julian, you take who issued the certificate is a big deal, right?
Sure.
Like if Joe Blow gives you a certificate, which I see it on eBay all the time. It comes with a certificate of authenticity. Mildred Ferguson from Des Moines issues a certificate. It doesn't mean a thing unless it's stuff that she makes that she can authenticate. Well, this is clearly a certificate from Heritage stating that is a Debbie Reynolds costume. And I think, and it even talks about the scene, You Were Meant for Me. And there's only one person in that scene. They did not mention the Beautiful Girl number. Had they done that, it would have actually made a little more sense. So I just think you have to be very, very careful. And I don't think anybody's doing anything on purpose here. Well, obviously, when I told Heritage about this, they immediately said, well, we'll refund you the money. Would you be interested in buying it back? I said, yes. So they go to the owner who had consigned the costume, who was shocked that it was not a legitimate Debbie costume. And as it turns out, Profiles in history did sell them that. And she had paid a lot more money than what we had paid. So she didn't want to sell it for less. In fact, I think she should be negotiating with Profiles again if they want to maintain their reputation of selling legitimate things. I went back and looked at the old auction that it sold in, and once again, it had that description. So Profiles did the original investigating on that costume, sold it as a Debbie costume from that scene, and there you have it. So there's an issue. To me, as a buyer, I'm a consumer more than I am anything else when it comes to this. I'm always looking for things that make it real. So I'm also wanting to buy things from places like Heritage, where I know that if I have a problem, they're going to honor the return. They're going to say, you got a problem. Now, look, if somebody else returns the costume, they may not buy it. Like if you were to call up and say, I don't believe this is Debbie, they would say, well, what are your grounds? Oh, the label's missing. Well, I don't know if it was mentioned in the description or not, but that isn't definitive. You saw how it took me 2 days to sort of get myself to a place where I could really say, this is not a Debbie costume. I wanted it to be a Debbie costume. You have a question, Seth? I see you hanging there.
I do have a question. Well, our friend Jordan the Lion is here tonight, and my camera's not on. Just stay on.
I don't think we even have
Yeah,
it
just stay
on
on
you.
That's okay.
Just stand up and walk out here.
No, that's all right. I'll just talk to you. So our friend Jordan the Lion is here, and he said that I know Kelly was very hard on your mother during filming. Did he ever praise her or anything after the movie, even an apology?
Well, I'm happy to answer that question. It is off topic, so I'm trying to stay on topic, but Gene and my mother became very close. My mother, of course, idolized Gene Kelly as a performer. There was nobody more professional than Gene Kelly. So even though he worked her very hard, and I've talked about this on prior shows, if you want to go back and look at an earlier show, I talk about this at length. In fact, I kind of debunked when the last Mrs. Kelly was saying that none of that actually happened, that Debbie's feet were not bleeding, etc. But we know they were, because I've actually talked to Fred Astaire and my mother about it, and he's the one that found her with the bloody feet. And he said, that doesn't matter. So too bad. So it wasn't like toughen up or get out. This is the way it works. So anyway, over the years, as you know, they remained very close. My mother stood in for him at the Academy Awards when he couldn't perform that big number, you remember. And I think we've got that up on the Patreon site. It's a fantastic number. She learned it like super fast. But all throughout their careers, they had established a very close personal relationship. He was always willing to be on her shows and vice versa. And, they were adorable together. She respected him. There was nobody more professional than Gene Kelly. And that's why he didn't want her. He didn't want my mom in it because she was like an amateur in his mind. And she was.
Yeah.
She was still learning. Now, as that relates to this costume, though, she's in this scene, as the love interest in this movie it's too late, the ship set sail, she's already in it. Nothing was going to stop that. I mean, during the rehearsals, he was trying to overwhelm her and get her to quit. And I think my mother felt that was what was happening. I don't know if that's exactly true, because he'd been told under no uncertain terms by his boss, Louis B. Mayer, that Debbie is playing this part. So he could have gotten her to quit. It reminds me of like the military. When you're in basic training, they want to get you to ring the bell and get out, under pressure, and that way they know you won't do that when we're in battle. Well, I think Gene Kelly was doing the same thing with my mom. He was like the drill sergeant and wanted to get her to DOA. And that's the right term, right, Buck? That is correct. I had to talk to the drill sergeant about that. Anyway, long story short, they were close friends to the bitter end. And, we all knew him pretty well. He was to the house a lot. Now, back to the point as far as his costume is concerned. So I have the costumes here. We're going to show them to you. And not that you saw them pretty good, but I think maybe you want to see them while I'm here in person. So we'll start with a wide shot with me going down there, but I have them lit, and the close-up camera, Buck, has got the costumes right here. So I didn't really finish the story of what happened. So what happened is the lady did not want to sell the costume, for a lesser price. So the costume is being returned. So sitting here in front of me right now will be the last time you see this, unless it shows up some other place at some future date and we buy it as a chorus line costume. But here is that costume that is, I think, in very, very nice shape. And it's in better shape than our costume. In fact, you can see that the
coloration,
the color is superior on theirs. But obviously my mother's costume was used much, much harder than a one chorus girl scene, which would explain it. This costume of my mom's clearly got used a lot more. And that would explain the color differences. But I think the video is very interesting. Now also in here, you'll notice this brooch. you see that brooch right there?
Whoops. Not.
Oopsie. Okay, we shouldn't be doing this, but I guess that's not going to really hurt anything. But
There
you
it
see
is.
that brooch right
Yep.
there. Now there are two of those. There's one on the waist and one on the shoulder. Go back to the wide. And oh well, let me just show this while we have it here. I'm going to do the close-up camera on this. Close up. So you see right here, that is plainly, it says, "You were meant for me," scene, Debbie Reynolds, etc. Okay, and they've got that on that costume. So we know that that is not what it is. So this does tell you that you can't just hands down accept these certificates. I don't care who they come from. You have to question everything. You have to research everything yourself. The brooch is interesting. It's very rare that there's like an iconic piece of jewelry that's used on a costume that one could duplicate. So if Seth will show you this picture, what we've decided to do, what is that on, by the way? Is that on, what is that? What? Oh, playback. Okay, go to playback.
So there were two brooches. One was on the shoulder. One is on the waist. Are
Right,
they
so
identical?
this is the one that was on the shoulder. No, one is smaller. As you can see, that one is approximately maybe 2 inches at the most. And it's made out of, it's a piece of costume jewelry for all intents and purposes. Now, do you have the, can you go back to the playback? You can come back to me, and then you go to the playback and just park the image on Debbie wearing this. We're going to show you Debbie wearing this brooch. And what it is it reminds a lot of people these days, today, even men, are wearing, and including myself, by the way, are wearing lapel pins. Like when I went to the Thalian Ball, I wore my mom's goofy thing. I've worn my mom's Charlotte's Web diamond and spider, diamond, platinum and diamond thing. So I think it's cool. And as a man that's not gay, although I think that having that little bit of decoration is okay. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's not overly flamboyant or anything.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, you could, whatever floats your boat.
Right.
But my point, though, is I think wearing a lapel pin is kind of cool. Now, this one's not overly elaborate, but go ahead and go to the Debbie clip, which he's got there. Okay, so you see there on her shoulder, she's wearing that clip. It's not the greatest of images, but hopefully you guys can zoom in or look it up for yourself. Well, I'm bringing this up for a simple reason, that what we're going to do is I have actually taken that brooch and I sent it to a jeweler friend of mine here in town. He's making a mold of it. So
I love that.
Well, and I think maybe girls would like it more than guys, but I think, I'm going to wear one of these. I'm just letting you know right now. So I'm just, whatever that means to you. You love it. But this thing is about that big. And what I did is I went down there and I said, can you duplicate this, but in nice metal? That's just really just a cheesy piece of costume jewelry. I said, can you make this out of higher end metal, and can we use better stones? And that's rhinestones in there at best. So anyway, that's what we're doing. So I'm going to ask those of you that are interested in this to let us know, because I'm making one for myself because I can. I'll make one for you. I was thinking about making them out of sterling silver, out of my mother's coins, which we still have a bunch of her coins. And he said, oh, that's okay to do that, but we need to have it electroplated in platinum so that it won't tarnish.
Right.
And so he said it's not overly expensive to do that. So at the moment we're going to cast it. We're going to make them out of sterling silver, electroplated in platinum, and we're going to use cubic zirconians, which have come a long way. They're very nice.
They also last. I have jewelry that with cubic zirconium that I literally bought on QVC like 25 years ago, 20 years ago.
Well, it is a stone.
And
it
looks perfect today. So yes, it's a beautiful stone that lasts.
So we're going to offer this. Those of you interested will on the back end let Ryan know. But basically, I'm going to make them initially, as I say, out of sterling with electroplated in platinum, cubic zirconian stones. as a lapel pin, or actually it could be a necklace too. One thing further, we're probably on the back going to have Debbie's signature laser etched into it, in her autograph, the Debbie autograph. Anyway, we're going to offer those. I don't have a price at all. We could also offer them in higher end metal. So he said that he would give me a price to do it in white gold. So they could be, you could have it silver, electroplated, or pure white gold or platinum. Because once we have the mold, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You know, and the stones would be the same. If you want to go into a higher end stone, you can, but it gets really
I personally
expensive.
wouldn't want that because I would be terrified of losing it.
Well-
I mean, that's why. I mean, the only things I wear that are real is my wedding ring, you know, my earrings. But I'm so this makes me a nervous wreck because
But we put that on a heavier chain.
we
for you.
did. But I mean, it's, you know, I typically like to wear stones that aren't real, just in case anybody came up and said, "Give me your stones," and I would be like,
Well-
"No, please, that's all I've got." And then, of course, they think they got some
It'd be
stones.
better just to run
But,
away.
Yeah,
Run away.
that's right.
But
But,
they're-
no,
they're-
but even if you lose them, it would be
Well,
horrible.
they make, and I don't know what it would cost right now, but I do know this: the higher end Kubert stones would cost about $100 for this brooch.
Yeah.
So, which is not bad. Now, if you were to go to lab-grown diamonds, the number goes flying.
Right.
It'd be
I
thousands
I
of
don't know
dollars.
why anybody would.
Well, I don't
do
think
it.
that matters.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm creating a limited edition from Debbie's estate of Debbie's Singing in the Rain brooch from this You Were Meant for Me numbers, well, and the prior number as well. So I just think there's some of you that might dig it. I like having the little things to put on my lapels. We've got the enamel pin from the memorial. I consider that to be something I also like to put on my lapel. Like right now, I actually have a Ronald Reagan library pin on. It's been on there for a while. But you know, I like to put different things on. So I think having that. So let us know if any of you are interested in
Well,
that.
what they would want to know is what the price point would be, more or less. You know, just to,
I don't know, but it's certainly going to be under $500. That I can pretty much assure you.
I would hope so.
Well, it's not going to be cheap though, because the metal and let's put it, just the metal and the stones are $200.
Yeah.
And maybe more with the electroplating. So let's just say that, you know, the parts alone could be $250.
Yeah, and they,
So,
before it's made.
well, and by the way, that's all that's all part of the game, right? I mean, there's a, you know, like I'm not going to mark it up some ridiculous amount. I would like
And you're only
everybody
going
to
to
have
make a
it.
certain number, right?
Huh?
You're only going to make a certain number.
We're only going to make a certain number, like probably no more than 50 at the most.
Yeah.
And then after that, we would just destroy the mold.
I like the idea of being able to laser etch her name in
It's
it.
beautiful the way
Yeah.
they do it. And it's tiny, but it'll say Debbie Reynolds' autograph on the back.
Right. It's a beautiful brooch.
Well, anyway, it was something that it's funny because I never thought about it until I saw that I haven't spent this much time looking at this scene before, and I certainly have never spent this much time staring at these costumes before. So I think of other movies like this. There's Molly Brown jewelry. We have the cigar
yeah.
band ring.
Oh, the cigar band ring is so unique and so beautiful.
I just don't know how
love
many
it.
people would actually wear Debbie's cigar band ring. At some point, we'll investigate all these things. But I think the jewelry is a fun thing to consider as a collectible that we can offer, that we can make. It's not like it's a patented item or something.
Yeah.
So, you know, and you could, you know, it has an interesting little story to go with it. So our story tonight was a story of one of intrigue. And I also want to tell a short story that goes with this. Just a few weeks before this, there was a Debbie costume that came up on Julian's site. And it said, Debbie Reynolds, Goodbye Charlie. And it said it was from a scene with her and Pat Boone. And they're in a car together. And somebody was contacting me, John Greer or somebody, are you going to bid on this? And I said, yeah, I mean, if it's legit, I'm going to bid on it. Let me look at it. So I looked at the pictures that they offered. And I went, let me look at the movie. So I brought up the movie and I got it up on a big screen. I paused it and I was like, there's no way that that's the costume. The collar didn't match, the button, it just glaringly obvious. This costume, the Singing in the Rain costume, not glaringly obvious. The only reason why I could authenticate this is because I had the other one. I mean, the label is another matter. Now, so the label is a big factor. The production code is a big factor. Cross-checking the numbers from the scene number and the take number is important, that which can be in there to sort of verify where these go. Anyway, I called them up and I said, I'm sorry, that is not screen used. And I mean, maybe it was made for the movie if you have the right labels in it. Now, somebody had already bid it up to like $800, which, for maybe not even a Debbie costume. I don't know. Now, here's something that really makes this interesting. They had a certificate of authenticity from Julian's auction years before, signed by Darren and my mother. It's got Debbie's signature on it, saying that. Now, the thing is, there's no picture of the dress. So the certificate, where did I do with my, can I get that certificate back? What we always do is put the item photograph on the certificate. That way you know what item we're talking about. So in this case, they put the picture of the dress here. And so you know that's what we're talking about is that dress. Well, on the Darren one, in those days, they didn't put the picture on, they just described it. So I can't even tell you for sure if that certificate actually goes to that dress, but let's assume for a minute that it did. So then I ask myself, well then why did Debbie sign a certificate for a costume that was clearly not screen used? Clearly not screen used. Well, one of two things happened. Either a bunch of certificates were put in front of them because they sold a bunch of items and she just signed them all and no one really verified it, or it doesn't go with that costume at all. So it's one of the two. Well, regardless of the answer, it puts us right back where I was when I started this whole conversation earlier. Buyer beware, it's up to you. So there's a friggin' certificate with my mother's signature on it, and nobody knew more about this shit than her. Nobody. I mean, Kent Warner knew more about the slippers than anybody, but nobody knew more about overall the wardrobe of MGM. So anyway, I bring this up. That wasn't an MGM picture. Or was that an MGM? No, it was a Fox picture, I believe. Goodbye Charlie is Fox. Yeah. Anyway, she knew that department pretty well as well because she pre-bought a lot of her items from that auction, but didn't go after her costumes. Anyway, the moral of the story is you guys need to be very careful. You need to get good advice if you don't know what you're doing. You need to have a copy. If you're going to really get serious about this, this book is out there.
Oh, you want to know something? People were asking about that in the chat.
Okay.
The production codes. Where could they find that book?
It's available on the internet. Is that close up enough to see it? So now this is an older edition, but it doesn't matter how old the edition is because I'm interested in the old dates.
Yeah.
So it's not like an updated version. You might find one of these on eBay, but they do. This is a serious book. I mean, you see how many pages are in this? Mm-hmm. This has every known studio. Well, I'm not every known to me anyway. Even studios that are not famous in here. So it's very important if you're going to collect that you have that information. Also, you can ask people like me. People did call me about that Goodbye Charlie costume, and by the way, to give props back to Julian's, I called them immediately and said that costume didn't match, and they changed the description right away. That said that it might have been made for the production, but it wasn't screen used.
Yeah.
So they updated it, but by then people had already been bidding on it. So they did change it, but what happens if I'm just sitting here? What happens if I'm on holiday, and I don't see this stuff? It can't be my job for eternity to cross-check these things.
Well, so in wrapping this up, Heritage absolutely did the right thing.
Yes.
So that's a great auction house.
Well, they're reputable in
yeah.
every single way I can think of, and they're a huge company at this point, and the CEO and the president are very, very reputable people, and they even because there's a lot of items. I mean, you're getting into thousands of items. They put on a lot of auctions, so things slip through the cracks. But they're going to honor it. Now they were at the mercy of the prior sale. I'm sure what happened is the reselling of it. They just looked back at the prior and said, "Oh, well, it was already authenticated by
exactly
by
so
profiles."
So it wasn't like a nefarious thing. It's easy to say. This has already been authenticated. This is not the first time it's been sold.
Well, from my perspective, I would want to look back at the first sale when it was sold by Profiles before it was resold by Heritage. And I would be, if I were the lady that owned it, I would be back in touch with them, and I would say who authenticated this from that sale. There is a story to be told that I don't know the history before it. Where did that come from? Why did they so quickly authenticate that with a missing label without checking the size?
Okay, so my question is...
I mean, Debbie doesn't have a 32-inch waist.
Is it going back?
It's going back because the lady, rightly so, kind of has, doesn't want to sell it for the price.
Right.
I believe she has certainly has a bone to pick with where she got it from.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is a statute of limitations on returning things or any kind of a legal matter. So one has to pay attention to that. I believe that statutes of limitations aren't always solid when there are circumstances that would cause them to be if it's not straightforward. And this is far from straightforward.
Yeah.
So I think she's got a pretty good case. If I were them, I would look back at that transaction and unwind it for her.
Yeah.
I might look at who gave it to me the first time. I've been given plenty of stuff that wasn't right, I can assure you. John LeBeau and others introduced a lot of bogus stuff into the world long ago when it wasn't even popular to do it. I also know of many sellers that I've seen that say, this is James Dean's jacket I'm wearing here, and they have no evidence to that fact. I see stuff on eBay all the time. eBay is the worst. You better know what you're doing. I just bought something on eBay last night, two nights ago. There was the AFI program when Carrie and I got my mom and Carrie and I got the Platinum Circle Award. There was a program that had a beautiful sketch of the three of us, and I have that program, but there was one there that was autographed by all three of us. And it had to have been done a long time ago, and Carrie's signature was big and bold. Now, I know by looking at that it's legit. I remember signing it off to the side like I did, smaller than they did, because I thought, I certainly don't want to. Carrie was like, Carrie Fisher, So anyway, I wanted that program, and I made a deal with the guy. We came up with a little bit of a cash and trade deal. And I know it's legit because I have extensive experience in knowing those signatures. And it was also my signature. Mm-hmm. So I can authenticate it. But can you? Do you have the capability? There are houses, that authenticate autographs are notoriously bad. But I also know people that are selling costumes that don't even match. I saw a costume the other day that I thought was absurd. It was, I'll just say this, a famous actress, period piece, made out of a lace material, and there was a photograph of the lace material and the photograph of the costume. They don't match at all. You just, within a minute, they don't match. So you guys really need to pay attention if you're going to drift off into costumes, and be careful, eBay especially.
Right. I think that's why autograph shows are so popular.
Oh, wait, we have something to go with all of this too, by the way.
Okay.
We have before we finish with the Singing in the Rain thing, we have Debbie discussing the scene.
Oh, okay.
So my mother loves to tell this story about Gene Kelly and her doing "You Were Meant for Me."
Let's do it.
And so it's funny because somebody asked a question, how did Dean and Debbie and Gene get along? And so this is when Debbie didn't know Gene that well, and she didn't know, for an example, that he had a hairpiece back here. So having said that, let's let Debbie tell the story.
Good morning to you. Now that number, well, I'm going to tell you a story. When we were shooting, we shot another number with the big lights were shining down. It was nobody but Gene and I, and there was a big tall ladder, and I was on top of the ladder, and Gene was doing this song, all by himself, and I was at the top of the ladder. I wasn't supposed to dance. I was just supposed to look down at him adoringly, which, you never look at your teachers adoringly. And I thought he was kind of old because he was 37. And I was only 17, so, he scared me, frankly. Because what you don't know, you're kind of frightened of, you know. So anyway, we were doing this dance number, and these lights were flooding down, and just this single tall ladder, like, 20-some feet in the air, and Gene was dancing to a song, "You Were Meant for Me," that song. And you don't know this, but in the mornings, we'd come in at very early, like 5:30 in the morning. At 6 o'clock, we had to be in makeup, because we'd all look like really ratty. When we came in, and everybody was under contract. Lana Turner, Ava Gardner was there. Grace Kelly was there. Oh, all these great, even Greta Garbo was there. Oh, I want to be alone. We all left her alone. That's the way she talked long. Oh. Like a foghorn. So, you know, we'd go in there, put makeup on, fix us all up. And I didn't know this, men too, you know, all the Fred Astaire, everybody, you know, in those days, Tyrone Power, all these big stars, Gary Cooper, Cary Grant was there, Cary Grant. See, the boys even. Oh, yeah. Will and Grace. So it was just a rumor. But anyway. Gary Cooper was there, and Jimmy Cagney was there, Humphrey Bogart was there. All the great stars were there, Spencer Tracy. So anyway, this was in the early morning, you know. So, and I'm on the top of the ladder. I had on a blue dress, chiffon, and so Gene is down below dancing, and he's singing this song, and I'm up there, and I used to just chew gum. I was 17, you know. It's before I discovered wine. So Gene is singing this song, and I'm on the ladder up there, and he's singing, so the director suddenly says, "All right, roll them." And I thought we were rehearsing, but he says, "Roll them." So I'm chewing away, and I take the gum, and I reach down, and I stick it on the rung of the ladder. Now, I didn't know this, but Gene Kelly had a secret. In makeup in the morning, they'd always do his makeup, but he'd fix his hair. You know what I mean? Like everybody, he had a little, you know, a ball, right here, he had a little round thing, so they popped that on there. So he was dancing away, singing, "You were meant for me, I was meant for you. Nature patterned you," and when and he leaned against the rung of the ladder, and then he danced away, and his hair stayed on the ladder. It looked like a tarantula. He didn't talk to me for a year.
Okay.
Oh my God.
that hilarious?
Yes. When was that?
It was that, you know, that she's clearly in her 70s there. What is it? 2010.
Was he?
2010.
Had he graduated to heaven already? I hope.
Yeah. Wouldn't matter. You know what? She told the story when he was alive. You know, my mom didn't think much of. She liked to tell those stories. And
God, she was funny.
I mean, I think that's. You know, you notice there. That's just all ad lib. There's no.
Yeah.
You see any cards?
No.
Prompters?
Nope.
And he's saying it was 2010. So you know, she was already. That's 78 years old. So, you know, she's doing pretty good. I know people at 78 are having a hard time figuring out where they are.
Yeah, no, that was hilarious. I was trying not to laugh because I have my microphone on and I didn't want to blow people out here, but oh, that was great.
It's cute. But I love to tell stories about a lot of these things, but to me it's way more fun to just set it up like I did and let her tell the story. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, to me, that's the perfect way to round that out. Now we've shown all the clips, right? Uh-huh. So,
Is that true, or was that a Debbie never let the truth get in the way of a good story?
oh, good point. So somebody asked if that is an actual story or if that's one of my mother's favorite mottos, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. And no, that's an absolutely true story. But here's the thing. She never really fabricated entire stories. A lot of times she would just embellish a story. And like a good example of that is that she's not 17. She was 19. So is that a big deal that she goes? Well, it sounds worse if she's 17, he's 37 or whatever she said, and there's the kissing scene. Remember, I've told you the story about the French kissing, and him putting his tongue in the mouth of a 17-year-old would be worse than sticking in the mouth of a 19-year-old. It's probably somehow less inappropriate, if there is such a thing. So at any rate, I would just say that sometimes she would add on to things. Or also had a way of describing something that just happened and observing things in a way that I would never have observed. So it was always fun to listen to her tell a story about something we all did.
Yeah.
Because it would be like way more interesting than what actually happened. But it did happen, but the way she described it was more interesting. And the person that really got that gift more enhanced than anybody was Carrie. Because in a way, that is what one of Carrie's most amazing gifts was, her ability to tell these stories, like she did in Postcards from the Edge and things. I mean, she's fabricating stuff there, okay? So now there's a good example. You asked the question. There's a great example of don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. Now, that would certainly be Carrie, and if you look at most of her books, it is a mixture of embellishment and truth. The truth is there, but she embellished things. A lot of people ask me about these different scenes or different chapters in Carrie's books, and most of the time they're based in absolute fact. But she's added things, changed the name to protect the innocent, if there is such a thing, and that's how that plays out.
All right. Well, I love this show tonight. I thought it was really interesting. Seth, you did a fantastic job with the videos. And Ryan, as always. I mean, Kyle, I don't know, is Kyle with us tonight?
I heard him snoring.
Where's
He
my...
is?
Oh, yay!
I'm here.
Hi, Kyle. Oh, I miss you. I know I'm going to get to see you soon, and that makes me happy. Before we go to the Super Wheel Prize drawing, I do want to say, I want to just say something about the Cat and Todd live,
the
the
we
Las
gotta do
Vegas
that first.
experience, because we added a second date.
Right, the first
one
one
sold out
quickly.
before the show was even over. And so we added another date that I think is like 2 weekends later, and we couldn't do it any later than that because of the weather here gets very hot.
Well, this is like that's 2/3 of the way sold out as well. Let's describe it.
Okay.
I'll let you do the beginning. I'll do the add-ons.
Yeah. So so both weekends, and the one that we're the people that have signed up for the first one and the second one already, I think, how many spots do we have left on the second
12.
one? Ryan, do you know?
Somewhere between 12 and 15.
Somewhere between 12 and 15. So we're limiting it to 35 spots. And the reason is because we want everybody to have a lot of time with us, time with the collection, time with the events that we're going to be throwing all weekend. It is here at our compound and home, and it's just going to be an amazing event. We have so many great things planned, including the Wizard of Oz experience. If you want to do that, you don't have to do that. That's an add-on that Todd will tell you about in just a minute. But what's really great about this is, as opposed to what we did on the cruise, is that there's far more time for all of us to be together. And being at the house here, out by the pool, in the house, in the museum, so many fun things for us to do. And we have amazing rates at the hotel for everyone, which Todd negotiated, I'm really happy to say, because hotels on the weekends can be very expensive. So the hotel is like $160 a night for the Friday
Actually,
and Saturday.
It's $120 plus the resort fee.
Yeah,
So
so
it's under $160, I believe.
And then on the off nights, which are Sunday night, if you wanted to stay another night, or if you wanted to come in Thursday before,
You have to let us know in advance.
you'd have to
but
let
you'd
us
have the
know in
same rates.
advance. But you would have the same rooms, and those nights are only
$65.
$65. So at the South Point, which is my favorite hotel here.
Well, they actually, per dollar, have the biggest rooms with the most amenities. That's why a lot of people like it, because they're actually square footage-wise larger than most of the other rooms.
Well,
et cetera.
and another thing is that they have a bowling alley there. They have the what do you call IMAX experience and a movie theaters that are there. They have
Many good restaurants.
amazing restaurants there. Great
Well, let
showroom.
me address a couple of those add-ons. So we're going to arrange, so Michael Gahn, who's the founder and owner of the South Point, arranged this block of rooms at that rate for us based on the idea that we might continue to do this. They also will extend out, we haven't set it up yet, but it will be set up soon, an option to get into their Players Club. So those of you that might want to play while you're here, they're going to offer some Player Club perks
Yep.
for you. But one of the most unique things we're doing, of course, we're offering the Sphere experience. Now, we originally reserved the owner's box, which is like the most pristine, best place to sit in the house, but it only holds 18 people. That's sold out immediately. I know a few people still want to go, so we're going to try to arrange other premium seating like that. But you have to let us know right away if you want to go to the Oz experience. It is expensive. I say this to everybody. You can also just go and sit in a regular seat for as low as like $100 and something. Now we're paying $400 for this box experience, but there's food and drinks and you're in a private booth and all that. So, and you get the Bad Witch experience, which basically means you get to go see the slippers that we have and some of the Oz costumes and other artifacts.
And there's also food and a bar
More
in
food
there,
and
and
drinks
you
in
get
there.
a poster of the show.
There's
and you
some
get,
cool
yeah,
stuff.
there's some great
It's-
perks to that.
I still think, even to me, it's a pricey experience, but from my perspective, it's one of the better values compared to other shows that I've seen.
And you know, when it's done, I don't know if it'll be back, and it's I think it's due to leave in.
It's got 6 more months, I think, 5 more months.
But after that, you know, so to experience in that way, but just to experience it at all is the most amazing thing.
No.
So even if you just decided to go, but you wanted to get the $100 and something seats,
We'll be able to
they're
help with that as
fantastic.
well.
I mean, you know, yeah, we can help you with that as well. So so it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, that is not required if you've already seen it. Maybe you don't want to do
Well,
it.
we also rented a bus
okay.
that all of us can go over together in.
That's right. We have a party bus that's going to carry all of us, which is going to be
And we're
great.
getting VIP entrance into the Sphere without waiting in lines.
Yep.
So we've got it set up as nice as it can be. Another thing that we're doing that's never been done before is we're opening a new section in the house as a museum. So there's another equally large square footage. It's almost exactly the same square footage as we have in the main museum now in the house.
Yep.
So we're doubling the size of the museum, and you guys will be the first ones
To see it.
get it.
Yeah.
And nobody else. So that'll be the grand opening. It's not open to the public anyway, but you'll be the first ones to see it. And what we're going to do is we're going to be putting costumes and possibly my mother's jewelry will be brought out for this event, so you'll be able to see some of her jewelry. We're also going to do the dining room table in her silver and china, and the glasses and things from the Hearst Castle, and so like her best place setting, so you'll be able to see what a Debbie high-end dinner party would have looked like. The table's not big enough, but it is as big as we have.
Yeah.
But we'll decorate. So there's going to be things you'll have never seen. Now the museum, though, will have some new costumes. We also just recently acquired another Elizabeth Taylor costume that'll be on display in there. So my stepmother's stuff will be on display as well. And we're also going to have other pieces that have never been out. Stuff that's been up here. Some of this has been on display in different places, but this will be things that have never been on display. More
But
of Carrie
I think we
as
have
well.
something like 12 hours together throughout the Friday night is the big dinner. You know, the party, I guess we would say the party, so everybody gets to meet each other. We have food and drinks and out by the pool, and it's so magical, you know, at night out there. And everybody gets to know each other so that by Saturday, you all are like old friends. And Saturday is the Sphere experience, I think, right?
The second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
Saturday, yes.
Yeah, and then we come back to the house and we have more events here,
And more food.
more food, and Sunday.
Oh,
That's
Carrie.
right. He used to call it.
Carrie used to say that the Caesar's Palace swimming pool.
Yeah.
It's
So
not quite that, but by swimming pool standards, it's rather elaborate.
Actually, I don't want to throw this at you, Ryan, and if you're not ready, but do you have pictures of the pool at night
He
out
has
there?
pictures of everything.
I do.
Let's
I have right here.
Okay, let's show them. So the second one is the 15th, 16th, and 17th.
And 17.
That's
Yeah.
an original painting there. That's on display at the house.
Yep. And
That's the
that's
backyard.
the back. That's Jordan's wedding. Jordan is here. Jordan and Katie got married here.
We're going to recreate that event
I married
for
them.
everybody.
Yes. That's right, the middle of the pool up there. It's a water slide, but it's really beautiful. A beautiful place to have a party, and that's what we're going to do. So we'll have a party out there Friday night. We'll have a party out there Saturday night. The Sphere Experience is in the day. See the dancing waters. There's Debbie's room, and I mean, there's just so much to see and do here. And and there's the recording studio and theater next to where we are right now. And there's our set right there. So it's going to be super awesome, and
There's the museum.
really it's going to be an experience and a memory that is going to last you a lifetime. There's the part of the museum right there, Charlie Chaplin's camera. So we hope you will join us. Like I said, there are 10 or 15 spots left, 12 to 15, I'm not sure. We're only doing 35 to keep it intimate and so that we can all spend a lot of time together. Then, so if you're interested in that, you go to the DebbieReynoldsStudioStore.com and you will see and read about it, and you can learn more about it there. We'd love to have you join us for the second one. And the first one, we are so excited.
I might even make my mother's guacamole.
I think that you have to make your mother's guacamole.
For those of you that have not had my family's recipe for her guacamole, this was handed down from my great-grandmother, to my grandmother, to my mother, to me.
Yep.
And it's a great guacamole recipe, and if you haven't had it, you haven't lived. That's all I have to say.
That's right.
Yeah, a lot of people, this is on their bucket list, so this is a good way to clear that off.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and do the super wheel now. I just wanted to tell you more about the event. We haven't advertised it to speak of, so before we do that, we just wanted to talk to our viewers about it first, and then there you go. You have the information. So let's do the super wheel, Ryan. And I'm really excited for all those who say, what's this?
Kyle will cue that up.
Kyle! So for those of you who want to know what the super wheel is, you'll see on the right side of the chat, people were making donations tonight. We appreciate that. That all goes to the cost of the show that we have here, Takes a Village, and any legacy projects that we have going, which you'll see when you're here. And so thank you for donating, everybody. Make sure that you, this is from 2 weeks ago because we had, these are the people that donated 2 weeks ago because we had last Saturday off. And so those of you who donated tonight, you will be on next week's wheel and have a chance to win the prize. Okay, here we go. Let's see who wins.
Ha!
Barb Kevern, you are a winner. Okay, so Barb, you have won a private Zoom call with Todd and I, and we will talk to you to set that up. Ryan will help us set that up, and I'm super excited. Also, I think Barb's coming to the first.
She is.
To the first Cat and Todd Live Las Vegas experience. She's been here before because she came to Get Your Fire Back, and my seminar, Get Your Fire Back. So I am
But this
psyched.
is different than that because this will be focused at this subject matter, more centered around, your memorabilia, my mother's, the careers. It's an entertainment thing. It's not about a personal improvement. Although you could get improved by being here.
Oh no, I think. Well, you know what pure joy does for a person?
That's right.
It's the greatest healer of all is to be happy and be in pure joy. So.
And speaking of joy, I was just thinking.
Congratulations, Barb.
I was thinking that I seem to recall that Ryan and Linda gave us a Tony Roma's gift certificate.
They did, and also a Joe's gift certificate.
But are you thinking that tonight is Tony Roma's?
Ooh. I could be, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse
I
and
know,
chase
that's
the
why I brought it
driver.
up. I was just
So take
thinking.
me out because I'm super
Take
hungry.
me out to Tony Roma's. Take me out right away.
Yeah.
We won't come back.
I don't know
Something
what
like
it's
that.
going to be like on a Saturday night downtown Las Vegas, but you know,
But
I'm game.
is there actually, it might be quiet.
It'll be fun because we'll go
But it
out,
might
and
actually
I'm
be
dressed
quiet.
for it. See, I have
You're warm.
I have my one piece on, and I'm ready. I'm dressed. I'm ready to go. I'm going to zip up just in anticipation for it. Hey, I want to thank everybody for coming, and especially I want to say thank you to Jordan the Lion who came here tonight, and thank you so much, Scott, for coming too. If you don't know their YouTube channels, let me plug them for them because we both watch them, and I love, love, love both channels. Scott Michaels is with Dearly Departed Tours with Scott Michaels on YouTube. Please check it out. He does such cool work there, and you are going to love it. I love anything that has to do with, I know it sounds macabre, but I'm like Scott. I like, like famous Hollywood lore and the people that have died and where they died and how they died, and he does it with such amazing grace. So you've got to check out that channel. And then there's Daze, D-A-Z-E, with Jordan the Lion. His channel is fantastic. Again, Hollywood-centered, really unusual stuff. Travels all over the country to bring you great stories, and I love them both. They're very dear friends. So thank you both for coming tonight and for donating, and we love you, all right? We love everybody. Have a fantastic week. We will see you next week. And remember, too, that I have a live show on Facebook every Friday night at 5 p.m., 8 p.m., so 5 in Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We appreciate you coming. Thank you so much. On behalf of Seth and Todd, Ryan and Kyle, and Dawn tonight, we thank you so much, everybody. And Buck, who's did a great job tonight. Thank you so much. Have a great, great week, everybody.
Gee, but it's good to be here. Frankly, I feel right at home. This is where all the excitement is. This is champagne with all the fears. Gee, but it's good to be here. I really feel in rare form. There's nothing like this, not anywhere. There's a magic that fills the air. I'm so ecstatic that I could yell and I could dance over. To be emphatic, I could shout, shout, shout it out. It's good to be here. We wouldn't miss this for the world. But it's my considered opinion that the place to be is the place